Hey guys, this first question, how to build confidence to deliver your speech, you really need to get some cake. And what I mean by that is cake as an acronym. So C means you need to change your perspective. So what I mean by that is you need to think of confidence building as nerves controlling. You want to control your nerves by thinking about them in a better fashion. So change your perspective about how you see your nerves. See them as a good thing. When you get nervous, say yes. I'm glad that I'm nervous. That means that I'm alive. And then you need to just control them. And how you do that is with the A. And the A stands for audience focused. So you need to walk into a presentation with your focus on the audience. How can you help inform them? How can you make them better? Get your thoughts off of you and onto them. The K stands for knowledge. So what I mean by knowledge is really know your speech, top to bottom. Also know the topic of your speech. Don't just know what your speech is, the words that you're going to deliver, but also know the content area. Become an expert in the area of your speech. And the E stands for experience. You just need to get out there and do it more. Speaking is a physical sport. It requires a lot of practice. So cake, change your perspective, audience focused, knowledgeable, and experience. Good luck.
So how do you develop confidence to deliver your speech? You practice. You practice when you're driving down the road, you practice when you're in the shower, you practice when you're out doing chores, you practice in front of the mirror, you practice in front of friends and family, you practice in front of anybody that'll listen. And you practice until you can say it in your sleep.
So the question is, should you memorize your speech? I really think that you should. As a younger speaker, it's so important that you give yourself the benefit of not having to worry about what am I going to say next. And memorizing a speech doesn't equal giving a robotic speech. Only by giving a memorized speech robotically do you look like a robot. I mean, think about your favorite actor, actress. Do they memorize their lines? Absolutely. Do they look like a robot? Only if they're playing a robot. To memorize almost any content, just go to my leadership blog. The links are provided on the screen as well as in the notes. And type in memorization station into the search field. That'll take you to a post that I did on my leadership blog about a step-by-step process about how to memorize any content. This will work for your classwork as well, not just for speeches. Good luck.
So a lot of people ask if you should memorize your speech. If you've written it beforehand, absolutely. Start early enough that you have plenty of time to memorize it. And then start memorizing in chunks. So take a paragraph or a couple paragraphs, a short piece of your speech, and start memorizing that. And then continually add to what you've memorized in chunks so that eventually you've memorized the whole thing, but not all at once.
So in order to sound good, in terms of your actual voice, you need to be concerned with T, P, and V. That's tone, pace, and volume. Your tone is serious, joyful, sad, happy. Your pace is how fast you go, and your volume is obviously high, low. And so you need to be working on those three things, and the key factor here is variety. You need to have variety of all three. You need to have variety in tone, variety in pace, and variety in your volume. And how do you, use the right, element of tone, pace, or volume? Well, it all depends on what you're saying. And how you sound needs to be in alignment with the words that you're saying, what they mean. And also a quick volume tip, almost every young speaker needs to be louder. Good luck.
The voice is a really cool tool. So practice using it and see what you can do with it. Practice talking really high and talking really low and talking really fast and talking really slow. because you can be really impactful with your voice. It's just a tool that you'll have to learn how to manage and use. The other thing that you want to do is make sure that you're really loud when you're talking in front of an audience. And one way to do that is to make sure that you're speaking from your diaphragm. So you can practice laying down and breathing from your stomach and really pushing the sound out so that you get as much volume from your voice as you can. The other thing that you can do is practice your articulation. And one way that I do that is to practice talking with a pencil or a pen in your mouth. You'll have to really work hard at talking around it, and that'll help you, when you remove it, to be more articulate with your words.
When it comes to what to do with your hands and your feet, a couple of simple tips. With your hands, you need to imagine that there is a box right in front of you that's about from your chin down to about your belly button and about the width of your body. And your hands need to stay in that box the majority of the time. Your hands are either in that box just flowing naturally, which takes practice, or at your side. Never put your hands behind your back. Never put them in the fig leaf position, meaning in front of you, down, holding your hands together. Never touch your hands together for a long period of time. So they need to be flowing in motion in front of you or at your side. And your feet, biggest thing about your feet, you need to imagine that you have concrete shoes on. The biggest thing with younger speakers is your nervousness gets out of control and you're dancing around. This doesn't mean that you don't walk. You need to walk from time to time, but when you stop, your whole bottom half of your body needs to be very quiet. Just imagine you have very heavy shoes on so that your feet cannot dance around. Good luck.
So what do you do with your hands? I recommend that you keep them at your side. Now you can use them as you talk. You can use them to emphasize a point or as you're numbering things off or if you want to reach out to your audience, but always bring them back here. You could keep them right here, but the problem is you're more likely to twiddle your thumbs or fidget with your hands. It's just safe for bed to put them down. As far as your feet go, ladies, make sure you have pretty feet. 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, either of those work. And don't be afraid to move, especially if you have the space to do so. And you can really make your transitions effective by moving and taking people with you as you transition to a new place in your speech.
So my last piece of advice for you is just to take your speeches serious. Really put a lot of effort into them. Of all the skills that you're going to learn as a young student, speaking is one that will last you for a long, long time. I know a lot of people who have hit a peak in their career and they can't go any higher because going higher means giving speeches, and they never learned how to be comfortable with it. They never learned how to be good at it whenever they were your age. So spend a lot of time, learn how to get good. It'll pay off later, and it's just a great confidence builder also. So good luck.
Remember that when you're giving a speech that you wrote, you're the expert. Nobody knows more about that speech than you do because it's yours. So take a deep breath, have a little faith in yourself, because you can do this.